Hi, friends. I'm Chaille Jolink, and this is The Other Side of the Bar, a podcast about what life is really like on the other side of the bar. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, and make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Other Side of the Bar. Facebook.com/Other Side of the Bar and Instagram at Other Side of the Bar. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the other side of the bar. Cheers. Hey y'all, I'm Chaille.
I'm Rebecca.
And this is another episode of The Other Side of the Bar. And we are here at Billy's, and it's just Rebecca and I tonight. Rebecca just finished her shift.
Still cleaning.
And we just wanted to have an episode, just us, to talk to you about the podcast so far, updates, accomplishments, what's next, and kind of what the buzz is around Austin about, there's new bars opening up. We found this cool article about bars that have been around for 20 years. So let's start from the beginning and talk about our accomplishments so far. So far we have 6 episodes, and we have one more interview tomorrow with our last person who's working at Billy's, or last staffer at Billy's. I don't know if you say staffer, but
that'll work.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. I guess I want to ask you, Rebecca, what, throughout this whole process, what have you been surprised by? What have you learned? What's been, interesting to you about this process? It can be anything. And we have not discussed this beforehand. So.
I'm like, no, it's just been fun talking to people, especially since I know them. Little tidbits. I like how the podcasts just kind of are free form, so you don't know where they're gonna go. I was surprised Alf's was basically all about food, and I was surprised Jared's was so funny. So yeah, it was nice, me and Billy, how close we are. It was easy to talk to him. So yeah, it's been real fun and easy so far.
For me, I've learned something new about everyone, including you, when I've interviewed them, or when we've interviewed them, and when I interviewed you. Have you learned, can you say the same? Did you learn something new about Billy? Since that's probably a good one because you've known him for so long.
There was, and I can't remember what it was now, but I remember at the time being oh, I didn't know that, because I feel like I know all the stories, but then there was a good story. I can't remember at the moment, but there was a good story. I was like, oh, cool, I didn't know that before.
I'm sure you could go back and listen. I feel like
I will listen, of course.
But the listener, I'm talking to, the listener can go back and listen.
Me too. Refresh my memory. I was like, yes, I could.
Because I think you've said that, I definitely know you and Jared had conversations like that where Jared said, do you know Ben Tipton? And, we didn't know any of those stories. And so I think we've all learned a lot about, all the people here. And I think that's really valuable and important in Austin and everywhere, because I think it's always great to learn more about people that you work with, and I think it's also important to learn about people who serve you. And in Austin, I feel like Austin is such a culture of a lot of people go out to eat now, and a lot of people, frequent those establishments, and even more people work at those establishments, and that's a lot of our economy. And so just having those stories told, I think, is really cool, and it's really evident from, we're both learning as we go here.
But you know what I was surprised about? How many people don't want to be interviewed.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Because to me, it just seems like such a no-brainer. You're already sitting down, having a beer, talking at a bar. But I guess they don't like to be recorded, or they feel self-conscious. So that was kind of a surprise. How many people were like, no, I don't want to do that. I
think people have a lot of preconceived notions about what a podcast is, too. I think a lot of people I talk to, they ask about the equipment I buy. I've bought zero equipment. Maybe that's obvious to my more sophisticated listeners, and I'm sure it is, but that's kind of not my point right now. The more important thing is that people sit down and we talk
just
about
getting the story out.
Yeah, just getting the story out. And so, I think it sounds great. I don't want it. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't want it to sound like NPR. So.
You said you have been frustrated by all your ums?
I did just say now. Yes. That was something I've learned that's really hard. I'm doing this also because it's a new medium for me personally. I actually don't think I've feel like I've done TV, but I really haven't.
Oh, I've been on News 8 and a couple things.
Right. I have been around that. I've been the person behind the camera. I've worked for bosses who've been interviewed. So I've been like in the periphery of that, but not a ton of radio, and certainly not, doing radio, if you will, or podcasting. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, and then as our listeners know, we've only, we have not gone past the circle of Billy's yet. And that's planned because Billy's is very important to me. And there's an article on Medium where I talk about this a lot, or I talk more about this. And I wanted to discuss on here Billy's, the importance of Billy's and Billy to me and to Rebecca. And we did kind of talk about it with Rebecca's interview, but for me, as I'm a regular here, somewhat accidentally, somewhat intentionally. It's hard not to be. It's been a neighborhood bar between wherever I've lived, and my parents know Billy. And Billy's has always been the place that I've been able to come to safely and by myself and felt completely okay to be here. And the only time I've avoided it is when I actually didn't feel like saying hi to people.
Right. When you're going to see someone you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So that to me it's a natural extension of, I just became curious about, the people working here, and Billy himself, who I've gotten to know just as a customer. He's so nice and always goes out of his way to talk to everyone here. And it's always interesting to me too. If you ever come to Billy's and an old guy just asks how's it going, it's probably Billy. So don't be alarmed.
And Larry is not Billy.
Larry is not Billy. Oh yeah. I actually am going to sit down with Larry. That's
Larry wants you to.
I know. I asked if we could wait till the summer, so he's a little less stressed.
Larry's furniture. He's like the regular.
He's quite the regular here.
Our joke is, I think I said this in the other one, like our joke is that he's just going to come out of the bathroom one day in a bathrobe. Forget where he's at. So comfortable.
I've had so many conversations here. I don't know if this was ever recorded, but when he's out of town, it's on the calendar here at Billy's, because
he lets us know. Like one time I seriously thought, because he used to be a major hoarder, and I was like, oh my God, the bookshelf collapsed on him. He's trapped. Like someone needs to go rescue him. So he lets us know.
Was he okay? He was obviously okay.
He went on a trip and forgot to tell us. He went out of town.
Yeah, there you go. That's why he's on the calendar when he leaves town. Yeah. And he usually leaves town every summer. He's a teacher, so he's got to get in those vacations when he can. So yeah, that's Billy's. I just want to thank everyone at Billy's for sitting down and doing this with me. I actually have been surprised by how many people have wanted to sit down and do it, and I've been surprised at the interest of it. Just because I think I'm surprised with anything. I just think it's really cool. So I really want to thank everyone, including you, Rebecca, for being so cool about it. And
talk about myself, have drinks. It's a burden.
I guess the next thing I want to ask is the best thing so far. And I have a good answer for that. That's why I wrote it down. Honestly, this is so random, but in Josie's interview, when she talked about the 100-year-old woman that she sat down with, and the technology, the biggest change she's been through, and it was the radio.
Right.
I thought that was really cool because, one, it kind of is a genuine extension of what we're doing. This is the new radio. It's not live yet, or technically podcasting isn't live, but it's very similar, and I just think it's also really interesting how humanity and just people's natural reactions to technology are really fascinating to me. It's very natural to be skeptical of technology, and I don't judge anyone for doing that, but at the same time, I personally have learned to embrace a lot of new technologies, and that's kind of what this podcast is about. I never thought I would even remotely think I could do this.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh yeah, what's a podcast when you asked me? Like, I know my teenager listens to them.
Yeah.
And I know there's like the popular ones, like the true crime one and the Richard Simmons one.
There's lots of cool ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just haven't. So this is all new to me too.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I'm not a huge podcast listener, but I do follow certain people online, and if their content's on podcasts, I usually turn it on in the car. So it's not.
I think I do listen to music podcasts, but don't realize that's technically a podcast.
What do you mean?
Like it's like a radio, like a music show. Is that a podcast? Like where they're playing music, or
like on like Sirius,
like streaming.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe. I mean,
know.
if you're listening, I think anything that you listen to is a podcast,
right?
Personally, but a podcast is technically a show that you create, and technically, I think it was a term kind of coined by Apple, but not copyrighted by Apple.
Oh.
If I had to guess, and that's a total guess, by the way. Anyone who knows the real answer, I would like to know.
Well, there's like Punk Melody Time where they play music. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a podcast, but
everyone listens to the radio at some level. I just always listen to the radio and listen to music. I would never listen to talk radio in the morning. It was a rare day when I would listen to it.
See, I love talk radio.
Yeah. I don't, but it was also, at least on talk radio, there was only X amount of times it was on, and it was in the morning, and it was only like...
Or me, like Coast to Coast, EVPs and ghost stories.
Yeah, I never liked the options. Dudley and Bob, KLBJ. That was okay, but it's so broy. Right. And then there was...
they get so excited when a lady calls in. Oh my God, a lady's calling in.
Yeah, and then the other thing is... oh my gosh, what's the name? There's a talk radio, the new KVET channel. It's like Coke FM.
Yeah, I haven't listened. They
have a morning show that's just...
What about, did you ever listen to like Sergeant Sam and all that?
That's like KLBJ AM.
Yeah.
And fuck no. I cannot. I totally respect, like, I get it. I had candidates who were Democrats who would listen to that to try to get, understand what the opposition is thinking. And it's this total trap of like politicians thinking they can convince these hard line things. Right. And it's a natural thing. I get it. And maybe you can one day, but it's just torture. No. I'm not going to try. It's hard. It's hard to listen to. I almost have thought to call in, but it's like just reacting to a woman's voice. I don't think they would.
All right.
Like just crazy sexy stuff. Anyway, that was the best. The old lady talking about how the biggest invention she'd ever seen, and she lived through moon landings and television and the automobile and all kinds of stuff. Computers.
The radio was more crazy than the computer.
Yeah. So that to me is the best thing so far. That and just everyone kind of being cool in general. Can you think of one, or
what's standing out? I don't know.
You really like Jared's. You thought Jared's was really funny.
I don't know why. I guess because he's such kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah.
So funny. It was fun to see him like open up.
Mhm. Yeah, I like listening to Alf's because
I'll have to listen to it again. See, I'm terrible. I like do them and I'm like, oh, I did it, and then I forget. Oh yeah, I can go back and listen to them. They're recorded.
It's funny. Yeah, I love listening to ours. I mean, that's kind of what got me really going with this. Is like I could really listen to ours and thought, okay.
I thought it was funny how I got shamed for liking Filet-O-Fish. You guys thought that was like the grossest thing ever, and I thought, really, it's that gross of a thing? I've always liked them. That cracked me up.
My friend, one of my best friends growing up, loved them, and I never could get I couldn't. I like fish. I love fried fish. I just don't.
But that was funny to me. Like I learned, no one likes them but me.
I think Wendy's has a good fish sandwich during Lent.
I've never had it.
It's
but
like a cod.
What a burger, like the what a fish.
What a catch. What a fish. Yeah. I haven't had it in a long time.
With grilled or pickled jalapenos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That does sound good. All right. Speaking of food, what's next? We have a lot of stuff on the horizon. Lots of people to interview. As you can imagine, if you're a listener, you probably know tons of people who own bars or work at bars. You might work at a bar. So if you're listening, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. Our email's everywhere. Let us know if you want us to sit down with you. We will obviously do it. I think the next the Cavalier is a bar that we're interested in.
Yeah, I want to talk to my friend Rochelle, definitely.
Yeah, and
she's in the hospital right now, gonna have a baby, so might have to wait a couple weeks.
Right. And then the other, that's an interesting Billy's Connection, sort of, because they're
pretty big Billy's Connection in two separate ways, for sure.
Right. They're occupying the space that was the new Dog and Duck on Weberville.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one? What's the other connection?
Well, Rochelle's ex-husband is one of my best friends. That's also a bartender.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
But she was my bridesmaid, and her new boyfriend's lovely, and he was a manager at Shangri-La.
Right. Okay.
Which my husband's best friend owns that bar. It's all interconnected.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to sit down with her. And then your friend Sam, right?
Mm-hmm. Sunrise Mart that everyone knows and loves. It's like the cult bottle shop. I don't know. Like, I just want to talk to lots of friends and people I know.
Yeah. So
my friend Jim, he owns Last Stand Brewing. He'd be fun to talk to.
Cool.
All the dudes from Austin Beer Works, they're fun. So yeah, lots of people.
Yeah. We have all that in the works. It's all in our plans. So stay tuned. And again, tomorrow we're interviewing the last person at Billy's, which is Trish, who is one of the Billy's
old school bartended crew. Since the 80s, Showdown.
Philip called it Team Billy or something in the beginning of his interview. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, he joined the Billy's Nation or Choir. Something crazy. Something weird. Like, he said something like that. I can't remember.
Colt? Maybe Colt?
Yeah. Trish is a part of that crew, I think. I can safely say.
And that's who we need to talk to, too. Her lifelong partner, Durbin, he worked at Crown and Anchor for, something, I'm going to say 27 years, and I don't even know if that's an exaggeration. Maybe 16 years, but
a long time.
Crown and Anchor forever. Yeah. Which was on that list.
Yeah. So the list she's talking about is I found an article on Austin 360 that Rebecca commented on. So Rebecca really found it. The 20 bars in Austin that are 20 years old.
That you have to see. Not just like a bar, but like fun places. So I've been to 16 out of 20.
I saw it, and I've been to every single one. It's, of course, what is that, Schultz?
Schultz, yeah.
Yeah. There's Schultz. There's the Driscoll Hotel. There's Scoot Inn. Have you been to those?
Oh, yeah.
There's the Tavern.
Yes.
There's...
That's Chili Parlor.
The Chili Parlor, of course. Definitely been there. There's Lala's. Oh, that's Ginny's.
Deep Eddy. Or is that... that's Ginny's. That's funny. It looks just like Deep Eddy from that photo.
Deep Eddy's got... I've been to Deep Eddy very recently. In fact, it's kind of my new favorite spot.
Oh, yeah. We lived in walking distance for 16 years.
I love it. I love that you can get vodka there now.
Oh, yeah, that's a neat thing.
I appreciate that. Because I don't dilly-dally there. I get a drink and I go home because that's all I need. So Jenny's, we've all been there. Lala's, of course. Don's Depot. Hole in the Wall.
Yep.
Deep Eddy, obviously. Continental. G&S Lounge. You have been. Yeah, me too.
But it's been a long time, probably like the 90s. Oh, Ian, when I was just saying, I met him there because he used to live near there.
Yeah, you can find this article on Austin 360 on their Facebook page, or just Google it. 20 bars, 20 years old, Austin 360. We used to call it Gross and Smoky Lounge.
The GNS?
Yeah, that was the GNS stand for.
I have not been to Broken Spoke, which breaks my heart. That's the one bar I've never been to. I've never been to Broken Spoke.
It is a big event when you go. It is kind of a deal.
Well, my friend goes all the time, but she is like she dances. She's a dancer.
Yeah. It's got the dance hall, and then it's got a bar that's a little separate. And I actually went on my aunt's birthday recently, and I honestly don't know if I had been before then. If I had, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't remember. And if I was, it was way before all those condos came up.
Oh yeah, I know, that's wild, right?
It was when it was like real like country South Austin. But yeah, so you've never been to the Broken Spoke?
No, I know, it's bizarre.
It's interesting. it's got really low ceilings. It's got like those old office like type ceilings that I don't know why they don't take them out, but anyway. Crown and Anchor, of course.
I've never been to Posse East.
It's right there too.
I know, it's right next. I've walked by it, but I've just never been in and had a beer.
I really like Posse East. They have a good burger.
They do.
You know, they you know, it's a lot like Crown and Anchor, except I've always thought of it more of a burger place, but...
So I always think of it as like a sports bar. More. Like, you know, like a frat kind of. That's why I've never... Because every time you walk by, it's like a million guys whooping it up. You know, I don't know. So I've just never gone in.
It's a fun place during game day. I recommend going there because I think a lot of ticket holders, like, who are leaving the game, end up hanging out and watching, like, if they leave the game too early.
Yeah.
Or I have a memory of listening to KVET where... they would
live broadcast,
and then it was the Aggie game when Dat Wynn was the defense. He was like this like defensive guy of the year, and I don't think you can win the Heisman on defense, but he would have if he could have. The A&M was a really good team. They had a really good defense, and UT beat them that year. Yeah. And I remember Matthew McConaughey being on the radio screaming and yelling. They were all partying at Posse East, and I just remember thinking like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And of course I had been there, but it reminds me of Dirty's, if you've ever been to Dirty's.
Oh, yes, I've been to Dirty's. I love Dirty's.
It feels a lot like Dirty's.
Yeah, but a bar.
But it's more, yeah. This is a carousel.
I've been there, yeah. It's been a long time.
That's on Cameron Road, right?
Northeast, yeah, that area, like northeast, yeah.
I've been there a handful of times. There were a handful of my friends' bands when they played there. La Perla.
I have not been there.
I went in, so it's on the east side, and it's definitely a bar that I was bar hopping on the east side, like a good hipster in her 20s, and I went in there because I wanted to go in there because it was definitely not a new bar. It had been there forever, and
that's what they say, the last Tejano bar.
Yeah, they have a jukebox of just Tejano music, and I remember playing a lot of it, and they only took cash.
Right.
They didn't have it. They had an ATM, but it was broken.
Right.
And I was with this guy that I am still friends with, and he didn't know any Tejano songs, and he's like...
Do you know a lot of Tejano songs?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know any.
Being from here, it's like, you know, Maná and Elvis Crespo.
I don't know it,
No, okay. My first boyfriend was from Venezuela, which I guess had a somewhat influence, and I had worked for a guy from El Paso. I love Shakira, like, you know, just Latin. That's like more pop music.
Right.
Honestly, all the bands I've named. So it's
I know Selena.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Selena.
That's it. Yeah.
Selena's like pop, and I really don't. If there's a difference between Tejano and pop, I should know, but it's kind of all. It's very similar.
No, I'm impressed. I don't know any of it.
Selena would be closest to Tejano, in my opinion. But that's also because it's just older.
Right.
But I've been there. It's like this photo on the website. It's as small as it looks. It's like a tiny room and then another tiny room, and that's it. There's maybe one pool table, and that's it. Casino El Camino.
Yeah, that's my old hangout in the 90s. That's where my husband and I had our first date.
Oh, that's cute.
That was my bar.
I made the mistake of ordering a Bloody Mary there, not realizing it was a meal.
Oh yeah.
Because they put bacon and like everything in it. I didn't know that. I just wanted like vodka and tomato juice. I'm that kind of Bloody Mary person. Giraffe House. Yes.
It looks different in that picture.
I know. It's so funny. It's just...
It looks fancier there. It's funny.
It looks... Look. The lighting. I think...
No, but they don't have all those pictures and stuff in the...
Yeah, they do.
Really? I'd have to look at it next time. That looks fancier than
you gotta go in the daytime. I think the daylight makes a difference.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I didn't even know there was windows.
The cloakroom. Oh yeah, we talked about this.
So this is my husband and I's like bucket list. This is where we want to go. We've never been, and we're always like want to go to the cloakroom. And for some reason, we've just never made it.
If you should go with your husband, but if you want a third wheel, I'd be happy to tag along.
Yeah, it's the one place where like we gotta go, and then we never make it.
The bathrooms are upstairs. You walk upstairs to go to the bathroom, and there's pictures. There's old pictures of all these staffers from the 90s in there.
Oh, cool.
Back when I think it was like at its peak, personally. Right.
But it's still hanging on, so we better go.
Yeah. And then...
That was it.
That's it. So, yeah, you've been to most.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, that's a cool article. That was fun. I guess the next thing is, are there any new places? I know you mentioned to me El Dorado Cafe.
I hear a lot of buzz. I haven't been.
It's really good.
You've been? Oh, okay. You liked it?
I went there once with a friend who's obsessed, who's been there for...
That's what I'm saying. People are obsessed. They love it. And I just haven't been.
Yeah. My friend's obsessed, and she's also a vegetarian, which is funny because it's not a marketed vegetarian place or anything.
Lots of options.
But that's kind of... It speaks to the quality of the establishment, in my opinion. Because it's good. They have all kinds of salsas. They have mashed potatoes as a side. That's really good. I think it's the same people or someone from Taco Deli helped kind of start it or works there.
So it's like a Tex-Mex place or a more modern version?
Definitely Tex-Mex.
Oh, okay.
Definitely just a Tex-Mex. It's Tex-Mex, yeah. Any other places? There's this place called Hank's.
I've seen pictures. Oh my god,
it's on Cameron.
Yeah. It looks amazing. All the pictures I've seen, they have like a strong Instagram game.
They've had a strong rollout.
Yeah. I didn't even know where it was. I keep
it's in Windsor Park neighborhood, which is off of Cameron.
Okay, that's the trendy new
off
like
of
near
Cameron
Mueller.
Road.
Yeah, I have so many friends that live over there.
Last affordable niche.
Kinda. I don't think it is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. And then I'm excited in my neighborhood, which is North Loop. Home Slice Pizza is opening, and those pictures, which you can also find on Austin 360, and no, we're not plugging them for any real reason.
You just are excited.
Yeah, we're not plugging Austin 360 or any of these places. It looks really cool. It's a full bar. So Home Slice South Congress doesn't have a full bar apparently, but this one on North Loop will.
Cool.
But they'll close at midnight, which doesn't change the neighborhood law.
Right.
But I'm excited that they're open. It looks really, really cool. There's even some murals of from that movie Do the Right Thing, the Spike Lee.
Oh, why is that? What is there?
There's a pizza place in that movie
called Home Slice? Or
no, it's just
love the
Italian
movie?
Joe's Pizza, I think is the name of it, or what's it?
Well, yeah, that's the main hangout in the movie.
Yeah, it's like this Italian neighborhood, and these black kids come in and eat the pizza, and it's like the tension between them. But yeah, there's murals of inside that Home Slice about.
I didn't know what the connection was to Home Slice and the movie.
Just pizza.
They just let the
just pizza.
Gotcha.
And Home Slice does market itself as New York style pizza.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's like Frank and Angie's. I love all their murals of Little Italy and whatever. That's my favorite go-to place. We go every year for my daughter's birthday.
Yeah. Well, I think. Are there any other places that you can think of?
Well, new to me, it was so funny last week. So I was coming to work, and every once in a while, I'm like, I'm just going to treat myself because I eat here all the time. Mm-hmm. So I had to do something kind of north. Oh, boring story. But anyway, so I was up by Anderson Lane, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to try this place. Because, again, I follow them online called Tea House. It's spelled Haus. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think they have a little bit of food and fancy tea, and they had this basil chicken. It's a fried chicken thing with fried basil, and it's Taiwanese.
Oh,
and it was delicious.
That's cool. And
randomly that night at Billy's, I had just happened to coordinate this. Last week was Taiwanese American Heritage Week, so this big group taps the Taiwanese American professionals had a happy hour thing here, and they had these passports. And the thing on there, they were promoting different Taiwanese restaurants in town, and it just happened to be one of the features out of everything was that basil chicken I had just bought.
Oh.
It was so weird. I'm I've never been there. Here it is being featured, and they're oh yeah, that's very traditional. It's some of the best Taiwanese street food you can get in Austin. Ooh. And I just happened to go there that night. It was so weird, and it was really good.
You have good taste.
Yeah, it was so funny.
And
the tea was delicious. So out of all places, it's on Anderson at the old North Cross next to the Walmart.
Mm-hmm. In that shopping center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Facing so if you're facing Walmart, it's to the left.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's really good tea.
Yeah, El Dorado's in a very random location, off of Anderson Lane. Not
so that's by the sewing place and all that. Yeah.
There's some
random. There's 5 mattress firms right there.
Yeah. There's been some random things there through the years, and it's been a shopping center that's there for a while. It's been there for.
Yeah, the basil chicken and tea was delicious.
That sounds good. I'm now hungry. Well, thank y'all for listening. This was fun. I'm glad we did this episode.
Yes.
This is cool. I'm Chaille, and you can find me at Chaille McCann, ChailleMcCann.
And I'm Rebecca and I'm at Billy's on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and I'm on Instagram at RebeccaRuth76.
Yes. Thanks again.
Bye.
See y'all on the other side of the bar. Hi friends, thank you so much for listening. To find out more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook.com/Other Side of the Bar and Instagram at Other Side of the Bar. And let us know what you think. Thanks again so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the other side of the bar. Cheers!